Are you holding on to your cheek?
No reason.
Oh, I think you were fretting about the conversation, right? I saw it. I read it. I thought about it. I said, let me duck, but I said, let me come on, because Lord Jesus, this one is over my head.
Oh, my God, man.
But you know what, though? I mean, as much as it's over some people's head, it's a conversation that is a bold conversation. It's not here. People
it is a real conversation, and if people wish to speak the truth, everybody have desires, and a lot of people desires aren't being met because they're afraid to talk about it.
And not only that,
afraid to talk about it with your own partner. Who is the person that
no man for Empress sexy, no.
And not only that too, the truth is, when a lot of people have these desires and you hearing me?
No, sir, we soon come back.
No, I'm saying no. All right, go Alright, fix yourself, good girl.
The truth is, too, when a lot of people have these desires and they're not met, sometimes, not everybody, let me say it clear, because people love to misunderstand what I said. Sometimes it led to cheating because they have the desire and it's not met and they can't talk about it with who they're with.
I read your president.
And somebody else that have the same intention and the same desire often will fulfill that need, and that's where a lot of cheating come from sometimes in a relationship. So, I mean, if both parties are agreeing to whatever they're agreeing to, or that you should have an open conversation with who you're with. The desire can be met by one person or the other person denied, and that's how sometimes you're prevented.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I think this is why you have to have these conversations with your spouse, because for me personally, what I used to like in my 20s or what I thought I like is not what I like in my 30s, not what I like. You always, especially if you're in a relationship like me where you're not changing every minute, if you're with a long-term partner, you need to have these conversations because we're growing and we're changing what our needs were then versus now.
Exactly.
It's so important that, this is, we laugh and we joke. It's not a joking matter. And you have to tell your partner, good night, sir. You have to tell your partner if they have to ask you, is it just a fantasy or something you would want to try?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we do have ideas in our head, but it doesn't necessarily mean we want to.
Exactly. And a lot of people fantasize. But you can turn your fantasies into reality.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because a lot of times, I'll tell you something. I have a fantasy, but when I think of the reality, I'm OCD. Like, I don't like germs. I would be like, oh, it'd be nice to have 2 girls. I would like to, in my head. But when I think about how germy I am, like, I'm like, ugh, I don't like that. And the reality doesn't play out well in my head. So I keep it as a fantasy.
Right.
It doesn't play out well. It just, like, the germs and the...
cut off?
Mm-hmm. No, I removed them because he was circling. From Wi-Fi not ready yet.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
I think it should always. I think it's not just for relationship. I think an open conversation in any kind of
absolutely
is a big piece of the puzzle. Some people might be interested in some things, and some people might not. It's up to the person.
It should be had. The second thing I've always had is, like Empress says, I've always had this thing where I want to be tied up, or I feel like somebody should tie me up. But the reality is, I'm like, some parts I'm ticklish, and do I want to feel out of control? And these are questions I'm asking myself.
That is one of my fantasies. Like being a dominatrix, I would want to, like, do some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, So it's like, that's the problem with me. I overthink things, like I'm thinking about the fantasy, but then I'm thinking about...
Oh, look who we have here tonight. Fire Reds. Wow. Yeah, Fire Reds.
Blessed.
Blessed.
Tashai look nice.
Fire it. I don't know if that topic is one that you have any kind of desire to share an opinion on.
Well, me can't read, you know, so me don't.
All right, let me read the topic for you.
Hold on. Why is she looking at me like that? Like this one, the one over this one. Why is she looking at me like?
Oh, why am I?
It's
the way I hold the camera.
Oh, okay. So when you're saying Empress, you look so nice. Wow.
Yeah. That's pirates. What I'm saying is, I'm not sure if this topic is one that you want to share an opinion on, but I'm gonna post it to you anyways.
Yes, read it. You can't read. Okay.
All right. It says, confess something you haven't done sexually that you would want to do. No judgment zone here.
What's the first word you said?
Confess.
A confess? Me not know what's a confess.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, that's a lot of woman in a fest. Me know, cunts. Could you please explain that word, confess?
Yeah, it want you to confess.
Oh, okay. So, what you're asking is, a secret? Like,
something like that. Something like that. Wait, something that you haven't done before sexually that you'd want to do.
I don't know. You know, really and truly, me think me boring in bed.
You're boring in a bed?
Me think so because me hear woman getting tied up.
Yeah.
Some woman like to get strangled. Yeah, strangled.
Yeah.
Me not like strangling no one. I might kill you.
No.
Me had a woman, she younger than me. She was like, me not want to say 23 because me not like saying them type of. She was like 26, yeah. And, you know, I'm an older man. Yeah. And, you know, the sex time come, the sex thing, you know. She start talking. So, you want me to box in your face? You say, what? No, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, really, me want to box in your face. Well.
So you had a dominatrix, Pirates.
What up?
She want to dominate you.
The Matrix, yeah, me look at the Matrix, but me not know what you're talking about. Matrix. Oh, you just gone on Matrix. He talking about sex. You're talking about Matrix. Oh my God.
Matrix.
Yeah, so she said she want to get boxed in your face. Me say me not do them type of things. And she say me boring.
Yeah.
So
because you're not doing what you like.
Well, one of the things I want is I don't know if I should say this. Don't tell no one, okay?
Alright.
Okay. You go come close, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see if King Eye listening. Him an instigator and him mind none of him business. Hey, yo, King Eye! Okay. Me want 2 woman.
What?
Yeah. But me not want, hold on. But me not want no one sit on me. You know, them type of, no. I'm a vegan. Yeah, so.
So you say that you don't meat?
He's a vegetarian.
Say that you don't meat?
Me not talk them type of talk on Instagram. Off Instagram, me not really like them. No. I'm an old fashioned brother. So, you know, me here on a talking about, you know, them type of freakiness. I'm not really freaky, so maybe I'm boring. I don't know.
Well, if you're not freaky and you're boring, if your woman tells you she wants you to box her in the face and she wants you to tie her up, that's what's gonna turn her on. Yeah, people have different things and different things that they desire what turn them on.
Yeah, but me curious.
And if you're one of them boxers, she probably say,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, she can call 911. The postman now.
They probably just squeeze her throat just a little bit. She probably say,
That could be a step up. Me not have my papers, so, you know.
Oh, you not have papers?
No.